Net. Hello, guys. Make sure my audio is playing. It should be. What are you guys doing?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Don't sound like you're fine, but I will accept. All right. What is happening for my webcam? Where is it? It is on the thing, but I'm not seeing it. Why? There's some technical thing. Okay. So today, what am I forgetting? Oh, let me let in some more people.
So this session is recorded and you post it as well, right?
No, I don't post the lecture sessions, you know. You want them to be posted too?
Yeah, because some people would be missing because they have, well, we have crit tomorrow.
Ah, I see. This is a before crit day. Oh, Lord. Too much of the demise of the other courses. Such is the life of any other course apart from studio. Okay, so you guys are here though. So you guys are ready for crit?
No.
No? Oh, you are my loyal fans. Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Show up no matter what.
3 mouse for that.
Oh, we still have the mouse. Oh. All right. Well, here's what we. So when your critique says tomorrow, which is Tuesday studio, right? Well, let's see. I have for today something. I have image size for today. I wonder if I can do it. I don't know if I can squeeze it in on Wednesday, you know. I hate for only half the class to get it because image size is super important. Okay, guys, so here's what we'll do. I can give you guys, I can reschedule the lecture. If it is that you unanimously feel like it's better to squeeze it in for the practical session, because it's 13 people I have, and is about 40 around and so. And I usually get about 30 enough, usually. But this is less than half. That's a problem. That is a problem. I mean, I could just do the lecture same way, but I do care that you guys need to get the knowledge, especially about image size. And I don't really want to do it twice. No, I don't. I really don't. Say again?
One lecture class. Why can you just record this one lecture class?
Oh yeah, forget about that. I could record it, but of course I'm not gonna watch it. But
Me not watch community class now, but those who weren't here, they can watch it.
that's a good point. I totally forgot about that. NDI output. Main output, okay. Hold on, let me see why. Why am I not getting all right. Well, let's do that, because what happens is that I really hate when things squeeze up down at the end. You know what I mean? And information is being crammed in everybody's brain at the last minute of the course. And then I have all kind of other things due. So I usually try to avoid that at all costs. So we'll do that, and allegedly you guys will watch it. All right? But I will post it. All right. Let me try and figure out. This thing. Video monitor. Oh yes, right. So many buttons and switches. I remember now. Come on. Source, capture source. Yeah, capture source, no. Yeah. What's the Ultra OBS? All right. And voila, I'm back. Okay, good. All right, there we go. Let me do a share screen. And hang on a bit. Okay, let's begin. So what we have is, we want to talk about image size. There we go. Oh, let me share screen here. Oh, disable this, disable that. All right. Everybody seeing okay? Right. These settings. All right, so unraveling the mystery of image size, that's what we are dealing with, right? Yeah, man. All right. So everybody knows about image size, right? How do we know the size of an image? So what I have here is a thesis presentation, right? And this is what like a nice final presentation would look like. You know, you have floor plans, you have images, you have diagrams. Let me kind of zoom in here, right? This is, I mean, if you Google architectural presentation, this is like pretty much a conglomerate of what you expect, right? Full on the design. You see it in its context, but there is so much information that is showed here. And some of this is vector information, right? We use both. So far we've used in Illustrator, and we see how graphics deal, how we can represent lines on the computer. And some of this is image information, like there's like renderings and photographs, I believe, right? Here's some photographs. But here's the trick. You're looking at this, right? This goes on a 20-foot wide wall. You get me? Now your computer screen is definitely not 20 foot. But on my computer screen, these look pretty sharp. And let me let in somebody here and disable the waiting room. Admit. Where's admit all? Admit all, all right. Let me disable the waiting room. Right, you guys hearing me? So, but how do I know that these images will print sharp? I mean, when I really think about this would probably cost about maybe $30,000 to print. I mean, it's like, I mean, this is one 24 by 36, right? So how much we have here? We have quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of sheets, right? I mean, can you imagine if you print this out and you realize that, I don't know, 5 of them is like really blurry? You know, like this image here. This is supposed to be 124 by 36 and it is like your icon image. And on your computer and Photoshop, everything looks fine. But then when you send it to print now and you get your print that you pay money for, it looks blurry. It's not the fault of the printer, you know. So it just means that you have to print it again. Such is the life of an architecture student. But then some of us remember that, oh yes, in DDM class, sir did tell you something about how you find out the actual image size, right? Of an image, so you know if it's going to be blurry or not. Because you can't judge it on your computer screen. Your computer screen is smaller. I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but you might see an image on your phone screen and it look fine, and you look at it on a big screen and it look blurry. Because the bigger the screen, the bigger the pixels, right? Okay, I only see half my class here. The other half is just in names. They're just alleged students. So I'm waiting for them to come online, right? Anyway, while they do that, so anyway, this is the mystery that we want to kind of unravel this week, right? So the resolution of this image, how do we find a resolution of an image? Do I have this image here? No, I don't have it. I have it somewhere. But, you know, I'll just use this image. I can just right click this and I can look in properties. And properties and details, and this will give me the size of an image, right? Let's see, let me type options. Everybody know about this, right? Like finding out the size of an image. Like suppose you want to find out how big an image is. Hold on. Right? On any image in Windows, you can right click it and go to properties, and under details, you will see the image size. Let me zoom in here. Come on thing. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Change this to gesture button. All right, there we go. Right. There we are. So this image that I have here is 4,300 and odd by 2,000 something. Let me throw this question out. Is this a big image?
Yes, sir.
Is it?
What, sir?
Is this a big image? I've just looked on this image that I have here, this random image I have in my folder, and I look in details and it tells me this image is 4,128 by 2322. Is this a big image?
Just no,
Is
not
that
really, sir.
not really?
What's the unit?
We don't know.
But
The unit, sir? I just 4,000. 4,000 what?
pixels.
Think you're smart.
I mean, but you guys print images already. I mean, if you find an image on Google and you want to print it, I mean, the image of a size. So, you know, in your mind, how are you confident that this image is sharp? You would say, oh yeah, man, the image big. But, so I'm asking, so what constitutes it big? I mean, if you look in properties, it can tell you a resolution. Anybody? Well, I'm sure everybody here has printed a picture already for some project. Anybody do any posters for like any of your lectures?
Yes, sir.
Right, and you have to find pictures, maybe like history, and you need to find a picture of a building and you have to put it on the poster. So has anybody ever printed something and it looked like really horribly blurry?
No.
Hmm?
No, sir.
Yes.
So my question to you is that how you know that it's sharp enough and it wouldn't be blurry when you...
Because the color quality on the computers looks suitable. That's how I judge it. I don't look at resolution. So if it doesn't look pretty on the computer, when I blow it up, then I don't use it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I mean, of course, you know that if you looked at that image on your phone, it would look sharper because your phone have a smaller screen. But if you go to the movie theater and look at that image, it will look blurry because it's a bigger screen. You know, anyway, so this is the kind of mystery that surrounds image size, right? Really and truly, it's hard for you to determine what is big. You know, big is almost like saying it's big. It looks pretty because it is on a screen that does not show me the blurry pixels. You get me? So I could lie to myself and look at an image on a smaller screen and say that's a good quality image. So those kind of statements is the kind of things that I get from persons over the years when we're trying to determine image size. And the higher you go, the stakes are higher. You know, when you go to fourth year, you're printing more sheets. All your sheets are big. It costs more money. When you leave and you go to work wherever, and I don't know, you have a project and they need to put up a billboard. The billboard costs, I don't know, $80,000. I mean, I don't think you can afford a blurry print with that amount of money. You get me? You guys are in computer graphics, so this is like a major component, and some people miss it. And I've just seen all kind of catastrophes because of that. So if I look at this image here, remember this big wall of drawings that I show you, right? And we said that this image is going to be on a 24 by 36. So you bring up what program you're using now, Revit or whatever you, and you click render. Then Revit asks you, what resolution do you want this image to render at? That is the big question. What resolution should I choose so that when I put this on a 24 by 36, it will look sharp? And that's what we're going to unravel today. So as it is now, this image is 3000 pixels by 1686. And let's say you're using, I don't know, you're using a program to render this image, and maybe the program took 2 hours to do this. So if you double the pixels, it would take double the time, right? Now, when we say that, look on the word pixels, I guess, I don't know if some of you already know, but every image on the computer is made up of like dots. And the dots come together to form an image, right? So if I should blow up what any image looks like, it pretty much looks like this. And we saw that in Photoshop. Remember when we were doing the car, we zoomed into the car and we saw that as soon as you zoom in far enough, you are able to see that the car is made up of pixels. But when you zoom out, the car looks fine, but you can zoom in until you actually see the pixels. So that means that pixels are finite. But yet, when we did what did we do last week now? We did the illustrator with the arrows. It don't matter how much we zoomed in, we could never see any pixels. So it is pixels of different color ranges that come together to form an image. And all the computer does is count how much pixels is on the x-axis and count how much is on the y-axis, and that is how you get a resolution. So there, in this image, there are 3,000 pixels going this way and 1,686 pixels going vertically down. And that's how you get resolution, right? Now, your screen, your computer screen is pretty much the same thing. Most of you are on a computer now, and the computer might be labeled HD, 1080p, right? 1920 by 1080. Anybody, that number sound familiar to anybody? Right? You see, all kind of things advertised on TV, HD, 1920, or they say 1080p, video games, playing 1080p. So all these things are referring to pixels, and all this is saying is that your computer screen is capable of showing you 3,000 pixels physically on your screen. 1,980 pixels horizontally and 1,080 vertically, right? 1920 by 1080. Okay, now the thing is, my computer screen that I'm looking at now says HD, right? It says that it is 1920 by 1080, and I have a sticker on my computer to prove it, because that's what it says my screen is. But yet I am displaying an image that is 3,000 pixels by 1,686 pixels. So what does that mean? That means you're basically squeezing down 3,000 pixels to display on your computer screen that is 1920 by 1080, right? And automatically, once you do that, you will never see the actual image quality one-to-one, right? I don't know. Well, I don't know if anybody remember the old CRT TV monitor them, not the flat screen one, them, the old one with the knob.
Back.
The big back TV, exactly. And I mean, if you watch a horrible quality movie, I'm sure some of we download movies, and we know when we download the movie them from this Bandula website, the quality look horrible. You see people are walking in front of the screen, all kind of madness, right? But when you watch that on a old time big back TV, it look nice and smooth. When you watch it on your nice HD computer screen, it looks horrible, right? And nowadays we don't notice this because pretty much everything is HD. HD is pretty much a standard. Nobody have the big back TV again. But the big back TV used to always make everything look pretty, including your cable, because the resolution was so small. And you were showing something with a high resolution on a small screen. You get me? So I'm saying that to say that looking on something big on a small screen, it will always appear to look nice and sharp. This image in front of you will appear to look nice and sharp because the screen itself is small. But the realistic amount of pixels is really being smushed in a smaller space. So I want to talk to you about this other term, DPI, because this is where things start to get confusing. You see resolution and you see DPI. And this is where the big misconception is. Anybody ever heard the term DPI? What does it mean?
Is it dots per inch, sir?
That's a good
Or
one.
something?
Per
Is it-
square inch.
Yeah.
You get 95 for that answer. You see it? So it's that per square inch. Now, usually when you talk about computers, you talk about resolution, or screen, you talk about resolution. what technology do we refer to usually when we talk about DPI? What equipment? Anybody?
Cameras.
Cameras.
Cameras, okay. Yep, we could.
Printer.
Printer, all right. Liliandra, you are correct. The prize goes to you. So yeah, when we talk about printers, we normally say, okay, this is a 300 DPI, this printer will print at 300 DPI. And we use the term loosely sometimes. I've seen people go to the printers to print something, or for a studio or whatever. And like the printer person will say, yeah, man, we're printing it at 300 DPI. There's some people who even refer to resolution as DPI, So that is where the misconception is. And there are usually three things in play when you talk about the quality of an image: the resolution, the DPI, and the image size. Those are the three things. So DPI is pretty straightforward. How many dots are in 1 square inch? So you have a 1 inch by 1 inch, and how many dots fit into that? So your printer normally uses spray particles, and those spray particles are dots, and they come together to form an image. Now your printer uses spray particles, but your computer screen uses, uses pixel, like lighted pixels, very small cubic things that can show any light in red, green, or blue. So everything that is technology has to use some form of dots to show you an image. Your phone uses lighted pixels, right? Little pixels that come together. And even if you have done pointillism with Miss West Martin, did you guys do that assignment where you have to like dot, 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 dot and create nothing? No, Huck. Oh man, you're missing out, man. Right? We had to do this big image where we had to use dots to put all the images together. And that is kind of replicating what the printer does, because it literally just put dots together to get the image. And all the printer does is try and replicate the dots that fits on your computer screen and spray it on a paper. So the trick is that the printer, if you take a 1 inch by 1 inch square, the printer can squeeze up to 300 dots in that 1 inch by 1 inch square. So your computer monitor, it can't go anywhere that close. You follow me? So in a way, print is, how you put it, at a higher resolution than your monitor. So to put it in perspective, perhaps the most expensive, no, let me not say no, because things kind of change nowadays. But perhaps the most expensive computer that have the highest resolution screen could probably only show you about 96 dots per square inch. You get me? So that is how the printer particles are like way finer. So you're able to get a much more sharper image. Now remember I talk about the big back TV. Looking at an HD movie on a big back TV, you're not going to see any difference. If it look good on your computer screen, it's going to look good on your big back TV. But the only reason that it looks good on the big back TV is that it can't display all of that resolution, so it looks better in quotation. You get me? You take an image that looks blurry on your big computer screen, you look on it on your phone, it looks nice and sharp. So it's the same kind of thing with the computer. It is very much possible for you to have a screen on your computer that looks great, and then when you print it, it looks fully blurry. So using how it looks on a computer screen becomes more impossible the larger you're going to output your size. So for example, most of us, if we're printing something like a Word document, an actual document with a letter size, when you think about it, letter size is about almost the same size as your average computer screen. So chances are if it look good on your computer screen, it will look good on your letter size document. You get me? Because physically they are about the same size, right? Even though your letter size document is capable of displaying at a much higher resolution than your screen. Now move that up a notch. If you want to print on a 24 by 36, there is no way that you should seek to judge that, okay, it looks good on this little screen I'm looking on. So it should look good on this 24 by 36 sheet I'm about to pay $1,000 to print. You follow my analogy? Because you can't look at a picture on your little phone and say, yeah, man, this picture look good on the little phone. So it will look good on the projector that I'm going to show because your phone screen is so tiny. Everybody understand the analogy so far?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, so we kind of have an idea what DPI is. Now, what I want to tell you is the big secret behind what makes an image blurry. And the big secret is what makes an image blurry is how you experience that image. What do I mean by that? Well, let's bring up Photoshop here. If I should whip up the first assignment we did, which is, where are you? Exercise 1. Did I close it? I could use exercise 2. Yeah, I could. I can. Okay, I moved it somewhere. Okay.
So what assignment numbers are we on in tutorial class?
We are in exercise. We're going to do exercise 3 on Thursday. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this image here, right? And I'm going to look at this image in Photoshop. Okay, good. Now, does this image look sharp? Cool. Some people nod them head. Some
No,
people
sir.
doesn't? Why?
No.
How do you know if an image is sharp? How can you tell?
You can see the difference in the foreground images and the background.
Mm,
The outlines are smooth and
Yeah,
straight.
outlines are
getting
different.
warmer. You're getting warmer, yes.
The edges are refined.
The edges are refined. Warmer, but okay.
Sharp, sir. Sharp.
It's sharp. All right, you're getting warmer, right? So this image is sharp. What about this image? Come on, stop doing that. Photoshop is being funny. Wait. Okay. Out. Zoom out. There we go. Stop now. Right. What about this image? Is it sharp or blurry?
Blurry.
It's blurry, okay. And if I should zoom in a little more, what about this image? That's what you'd say, what? Extremely blurry, right? Right? You guys with me?
Yes, sir.
But yet still, it when you look at it like this, it's a sharp image. So what I would say to anybody to determine if an image is blurry or not, what does it depend on? What does it depend on? Anybody? Hello? What does it depend on to show you that an image is blurry or sharp? How what? How close you are to the image, right? That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's common sense, right? Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because although it's common sense, if I should ask you now, if somebody should ask me, sir, is this image sharp enough? The first question I would ask is what? How close you're going to be to the image? Because if somebody shows me an image that the size is 100 by 100, right? That's like an icon size. If they're going to see it on your cell phone, I would say, yeah, man, that's a sharp image. You follow what I'm saying? So it's the very same way that if you say, sir, will this image be sharp? And I say, what are you going to show it on? Well, I'm going to print it on for a presentation, 24 by 36. Then I'm going to say, no, that image is going to be blurry. Because and it all depends on how you experience the image that determines if it's sharp or not. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, averagely when you sit in front of your computer monitor, chances are you are like about 3 feet away, roughly, about 3 feet away from your computer monitor, thereabout. How far are you usually like from a billboard? You know, maybe 50 feet. Not to mention if you're driving. I mean, then it's a whole range if you're driving. Your average poster print that you have with your crits, how far are you away when you're doing your critiques in your studio? On average. Anybody? Who can tell me that one?
3 feet.
No, sir. I don't think so. You mean if you're presenting, you're 3 feet away?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the viewers. Because,
like 10, 50, 20 feet.
all right, because how many times have you been in a crit and you're presenting and you point to something and say, this room here, and everybody's squinting and say, I can't see that. You get me? So the fact that the distance persons are away from whatever you produce has a major factor to do with size. So for example, I don't know if anybody has ever gone up to a billboard, or even better yet, a lot of those lighted signs are everywhere. You know, the one with the green frog, you see them a lot, but everywhere you see lighted signs. Have you ever gone up to those lighted signs and look? It is an extremely low resolution image. You can't, the pixels are like so big. They're like little light bulbs. Anybody ever notice that?
No, sir.
Really? Okay, you should check it out. Any billboard that you see there looks nice and sharp, but really and truly, it's a very blurry image. If you have it, if you go right up to it and look at it, it is a blurry image. But we wouldn't call it blurry because the average audience always experiences it more than 100 feet away. So it's not blurry. And really and truly, that is the main difference that makes the world of a difference, especially to an architecture student and with somebody who has limited resources. And I'll give you an example of that before we wrap up, why distance is so important. Now, this image that you're seeing here, right? It's a montage, right? Anybody know a 3D montage? You take the 3D picture and you put it in a real picture, right? So chances are you guys will probably do this kind of thing in architecture. Maybe you want to show what your design looks like. So you will go out and you take a picture of the surroundings, maybe with your cell phone or a camera, and then you insert a 3D picture there. There could be other things, like when you're presenting and you want to show what your site looks like, right? So you might have a presentation And you have photos of the site. See some photos of the site here. Let me zoom in. Can I zoom in anymore? No? Okay. You see these? These are photos of the site. A lot of times we need to show photos of our site when we're presenting. Now, everybody has a cell phone, and everybody's cell phone have a camera. So let me ask you the question. If you have a presentation, you have a crit, well, ironically, you have a crit tomorrow, right? But anyway, you need to go out and take a photo with your phone so that you can print it on your 24 by 36 sheet. How do you know that the phone that you're using, when you take an image and you put it on your 24 by 36, it will be quote unquote sharp? And when I say sharp, meaning when your audience is 10 feet away, thereabout, the typical distance for a crit, they will look on your image and not say, that is a horrible blurry mess. I know some of us have seen blurry billboards before, especially the government ones. Those are the worst ones. Yeah, like the picture of the mayor and those things, and you just look and it's just a horrible image and it's just blurry, right? And you're so far away and it's blurry. So just imagine, you know, somebody took a picture of them cell phone and probably just stick it on the billboard like a crazy person. But on the cell phone, it looked nice and sharp, right? So the point I'm trying to get is, there comes a point where you can't use a screen to tell whether or not the image will be nice and sharp. As a student, maybe you get away with it because, you know, you're a student and thing, but think about the work world. If your firm that you work at is doing a presentation to a big client and then going pin up in a big important meeting, you don't want to be pinning up blurry images. That's just bad. So when you go out to take pictures of your site with your cell phone, how do you know that the resolution of your cell phone is good enough to be printed and not be blurry? Now, you could look on your phone and see what megapixels your phone have. No, nowadays, the phone's measured in megapixels, right? So nowadays, when you buy a phone, it will say 15 megapixels, 10 megapixels. What is a good megapixel for a phone? Anybody have an idea?
12.
12, okay.
12.
And we probably know that because, you know, we see a phone that costs money and the marketing say that awesome camera, 12 megapixels. And you're like, yeah, man, so 12 good. Because, you know, it sounds good. But I want you to understand what megapixels mean. That's the first thing. And what megapixels mean is megapixels is the amount of pixels on your x-axis multiplied by the amount of pixels on your y-axis. So let's look back at this image here that I showed as an example. This was a photo I took when I was driving by Hardware and Lumber. I took it with my phone, right? If I wanted to find out what megapixels my phone is, right, then all I have to do is multiply the resolution height by the resolution width. And all megapixels is telling me is it is the total amount of these dots. Oops. Right. It is counting. It is how many of these little dots can your phone push? That is what megapixels is. So back to my image. If I look at the information here, I see that this image is 4,218. So I'm going to work it out here. So yes, we do need our calculator. I know it's not maths class, but we need to know a little maths and everything, right? So we put a calculator here. So this is 4,128 times, I'm working out the megapixel of my phone that I used to take this picture, times 2,322. How much megapixels is the phone that I used to take this? Remember your maths class, mega, what mega mean? What mega mean? Uh-oh.
Man,
A million?
Exactly, million. So how much megapixels is this phone? So the figure there, in the interest of time.
9.5.
Good. So this phone, the phone that was used to take this image, is 9.5 megapixels. Cool? So I'm trying to say that to say to you, if a phone that you plan to buy for thousands of dollars and it said that is 12 megapixels, you understand what megapixels is. Don't just use it as a marketing number to say, yeah man, 12 must good because then bundle it with a phone that costs enough money. Megapixels is how much pixels the phone can stuff into your image. In this case, there are 9.5 million pixels. So it's a 9.5, it's a 9.5 megapixel camera. And the pixels are distributed 3,000 at the top by 2,000 something wide, right? Okay, so now that you know exactly what megapixels are, you can determine what resolution your phone can take. Remember the scenario, you know, you're presenting and you need to take a picture of your site, and you want to know that if you go to your cell phone and take a picture and you pin it up, you print it and pin it up, it will not be blurry. So your phone is, let's say that your phone is 9 megapixels. Everybody with me? That's a decent phone, right? If 12 is good, then 9 is average. It's above, it's not like a bangers. You get me? Hold on, bangers don't have camera. Them have camera now?
some of them.
Some of them.
Some of them.
So I am assuming that because you're in a graphic design / digital media course, you don't want to buy a bangers because you want a proper camera. So you have a phone that has 9 megapixels, no problem. Now, here is the question. At 9 megapixels, I can get an image like what I showed you, which is what now, 3,000 something by 3,000. Now, here is the question. The formula to work out if an image is sharp enough for a real print is the resolution of the image divided by the DPI, and you get what's called the real height. Now, let's say your phone takes an image. I'm going to show you a scenario here. Your phone takes an image of 3,000 by 2,000. Where's my pen? Here's my pen. All right. So there we go. So your phone is, can I undo? No, you silly Billy. You can't undo on this. I don't want to use that. Let's use this. Wait. There we go. Okay. So your phone takes an image of 3,000 by 2,000. Right? Because that's what your phone rated at to take, right? So 3,000 pixels by 2,000 pixels. Now, what you want to do is find out when I take an image with this phone that takes 3,000 pixels by 2,000 pixels, will it be decent enough to grow at 24 by 36 inch display? So no problem. Let's look at what the formula says. And this is a formula to remember for life. It will save you money. There we go. So the resolution of the image divided by the DPI gives you the real world height. Now, let me do the height and the width first. So the phone that we have is 3,000 pixels. This is actually what? 3,000 is the width. So I write px. So 3,000 px is the width. What is the DPI? What value should we use for the DPI? Remember, the DPI is perceived. The closer you are, the more detail you will see. The further you are, the less detail you will see. When you have a document in front of you, something like a book or a magazine, let's say you have a magazine like this in front of you. How far am I away averagely from the book? I'm pretty close, right? So the closer you are to the content is the higher the DPI you want to use. The further you are, like a billboard, is the lower the DPI you want to use, because you don't need to be printing at a high DPI from so far. And this is why most people who print documents, you will hear them throw out a word, I'm going to print at 300 DPI. And 300 DPI is the typical DPI used because for documents, you are right close to the image. So that is the DPI that you use. Now, in our scenario, we are going to be like, how far away from the sheet? About 10 feet. So we're not going to be as close as a document. So we're not going to use 300 DPI. We only need 300 DPI when you're close. No, leave it. We only need 300 DPI when you're close. We only need 100 DPI when we're like with a billboard. So we're going to use somewhere in between. So let's use 150 DPI. So let's put 150 here. Now, with our phone that will take an image 300 pixels wide, and we're using 150 DPI based on how far we are away from the image. That's the key thing. It's not a document where you're close up, or we would have used 300 DPI. It is a poster where we're semi-far away, so we're going to use 150 DPI in our formula. Now, what is the real print height? Now, the real print height is, anybody work it out yet? Anybody work it out? So 3,000 divided by 150.
Would be 20 DPI. Sir.
All right. What would be the value here that you would get? It would be inches. So 20 inches. It's hard to write on the screen. 20 inches for the width. Now let's work out the height. No, the real height. So what is the height of our phone now? It said 2,000 pixels. All right. So let's do the same thing now with the height. Need stop. Wait. So we're going to do the same thing with the height. So it is 2,000 divided by, we're using the same 150 DPI, right? What do we get for that? We'll work it out quicker. Anybody?
$13.33.
13, call it 13 inches. and this is the height. So check this out. A phone that can take a resolution of 3000 by 2000 can be printed at on a 20-inch by 30-inch size when experienced from 10 feet away. You understand that sentence? So remember, your phone is finite. When you buy your phone, it tells you the resolution that the picture can take. So your phone is finite. So you want to know that when you go to your site, take a picture with your phone, and you present it in crit, it will be sharp. So if you take a picture with your phone, then what that equates to is when you print, if the image is larger, if in real life, the paper that you're printing on is larger than 13 inches by 20 inches, it's going to be blurry. Sounds confusing? Remember, you know, this is a problem we're going to meet up on enough time, you know. It's just that when you're dealing with letter size, is less of an implication. When you're dealing with 24 by 36 and billboards, there's a high implication. Those prints cost way more money. So you don't want to be using your screen to determine if the image is sharp enough, right? You want to be using a formula. Okay? So let me flip this another way that is very popular for you guys. And I'll leave you with this question, right? You're doing your presentation sheet, and in your concept, you need a picture of, I don't know, maybe it's a fruit. Maybe your building is like, I don't know, a pumpkin or whatever. So you need to Google quickly a picture of a pumpkin to put on your sheet because that's your concept. So you go to Google and you type picture of pumpkin. And Google give you a picture of a pumpkin. Now you want to know, will this come out blurry or not? When you look at the picture, it gives you a resolution. You want to know if, all right, if I drop this picture on my sheet, and you know what? I should use a better example than pumpkins because a lot of you use Entourage from Google, right? You find a tree, you find a man, you find a car, and you want to drop it on your sheet. Now, all of those have resolutions, and let's just say you're just doing a chance thing because the picture looks sharp, so when you put it on your sheet, it should be fine. But I'm telling you now that if you know the resolution of the image you download from Google, and you know how you intend to present that info, like it's a presentation, it's a document, you can know scientifically if that image will be sharp on your sheet. Scientifically. So, here is what we will pick up on for the next class. Because I know this image size thing sometimes sounds a little confusing, like, you know, because it's maths and whatever, but it in the kind of work that I do, where somebody will come to me to do a billboard to put on a site, and they want me to do a billboard, and they want me to just deliver the image to the printer, and the printer print it. I need to know that when that billboard get put up, and the client going to pay what, $80,000 for the billboard, that is going to be sharp. So when in the work world, this becomes very important, and your practice now is with small sheets that only cost like $800 a sheet. I know I said only, but it's still expensive. But I'm telling you, take your practice from now, because if you mess up and print a $20,000 sheet, blurry, then your job will be on the line. All right. So we're going to continue this for the next class, right? Here is your homework. So you must create a poster. You're not going to really create a poster. I'm not giving you work to do. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm simply asking you a question. So you must create a poster that can be printed as a poster size, 24 by 36 inch, delivered as a PSD or PDF format. Now the client needs you to purchase a camera to take a photo of a giveaway car, right? So we're talking about money now, right? You know my type of money already, it's not real. You understand? But anyway, so here is your choices. You can buy a 5 megapixel camera, a 15 megapixel camera, a 30 megapixel camera, 50 or a 100 megapixel camera. Cool? Now, each of these costs money. I mean, a 100 megapixel camera, I don't even know if that make it. And if it did make it, I can just imagine it would cost some car money. But the client come to you and say, look, I want to give you the job. So I need to go to foreign and buy a camera. What camera should I buy? Don't make me waste my money, you know. What camera should I buy? So I want you to advise the client what camera they need to buy to give you, to take a picture, to put on a 24 by 36 inch. It's funny, but this is actually real world because people ask me all the time, I'm buying a camera for CSA, what camera should I buy? So I'm going to leave you with this question and we will look at it next week. All right? All I'm asking you is you have 5 different cameras to choose from. Which is the best camera to buy to take a picture to print on a 24 by 36 inch? Big, meaning the whole picture must be 24 by 36. Right? That's a pretty big image. Right? We'll discuss the answer next class. All right? And we will see if you will waste money and buy a camera that's too expensive, or you will waste money and buy a camera that is too cheap and will end up giving you a blurry image. All right? This handout is on the site, or you can just take a snip of it and save it. I know you have a studio to do, so go do your studio, clear your head. We'll talk about it next week. Try and take a look at it over the weekend. I cannot promise any prizes, okay? Or at least any real prizes as per usual. On Wednesday, we're doing Illustrator again, all right? So we will talk on Wednesday. Good luck with the presentation, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So you say I should post this video. So I'm going to post this one. All right. And just let them know of this question. This is like the question that we'll look on for next. Okay. Bye. Take care.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.